Shortly after pushing out that previous video where we did Dolo Scurious, I've made the realization that this scythe on 416 Hero is uncharged and I never got around to charging it. This is most likely because I actually haven't done the quest line that gives me the Dragon's Medallion, giving me easy access to the Theater of Blood Bank where you charge the scythe. So if I want to charge it right now, I have to make quite a bit of a run to get over there. Anyways, I'm using it on the Greater Demons task right now, and I'm leaving it uncharged. This is because I wouldn't be using a charged scythe on Greater Demons anyways. I'd be using something like a Blade of Saildor. Running it through the DPS calcs, comparing it from the Blade to the Fang, and even the dualies, the Blood Moon dualies, an uncharged scythe is actually best in slot out of those 4 options on Greater Demons here. Charged or uncharged scythe aside, we are still moving on with the Slayer grind, and we'll check back in when we hit 69, or if anything else interesting happens in between. And just to clarify, we're going for 69 Slayer because we are working towards Monkey Madness 2. We are back at Scurious on both accounts, doloing again. I think anytime I get a rat task while Turiel boosting, I'm going to try and make my way over here to Scurious and get some KCs in. And we get the Scurious Spine on, wait for it, on KC 29. Now, I said before in the previous video, both accounts actually have the same amount of Scurious KCs. So interesting to see that Wait For It has got the first spine, and hopefully 416 Hero will have one soon. I went ahead and grabbed another Konar task, and the task is to do 50 Ankus at the bottom of the Stronghold security. Now, I realized I've never actually completed the Stronghold on this account, so I guess when we're done with the task, we're going to have to make our way through all the gates and claim the reward in the center. Unexpected, but we get ourselves a left skull half. We already have the right, and now I think we just need the staff pieces, and then we can combine all of it and get ourselves a scepter, which I believe is a Varrock diary task. Just finished our Slayer task. Let's search the Crate of a Life in the center here. Here we go. We have our choice of boots. And we're just gonna go with the fancy boots, you know. We don't actually need to pick the other boots for any combat stats anymore. We got ourselves the Arania boots. And plus, you know, there's only one right option there, and that's the fancy boots. I know there's actually the third option there where it's the best of both worlds. You get the combat boots and the fancy boots combined together, but you know what? I don't really know when they introduced that. So yeah, continuing on our Slayer grind, we just came to the worms here, and combat task popped up unexpectedly. That's kind of what happens when you're doing Slayer, honestly. Yo, we just got a dragon harpoon. The craziest thing about this is that we don't even have one on Wait For It. This is actually the first dragon harpoon in the game. So here we are on another Turiel task, and we're back at the lizards. We've been here several times before, but this time we unlocked a reptile freezer. So that way we don't have to manually click on these ice coolers in our inventory and then onto the lizards. A little bit of a quality of life thing, and it did cost me 90 Slayer points. I swear I'm going to stop yapping about my Slayer progress and actually show up shortly with 69 Slayer. But this next Konar task that I picked up is fairly interesting because it is Greater Demons in the Chasm of Fire. Now, as you can see right now, I'm actually in the Yama fight room, and I have to talk to Yama real quick just because I want to sign the contract that he offers, and that will enable us to farm contracts in the Greater Demons in the Chasm. So Yama is a bit of a yapper himself, so there's tons of dialogue here. And yeah, we will sign his contract. I believe it's been signed. We don't want to challenge him right now. Let's just get out of here. Now back up here at the Greater Demons, you can see that there is a sigil above the Greater Demon. Now I'm not going to get too much into it because our focus isn't on Yama or his contracts right now. But basically, different sigils means you'll want to farm the Greater Demons with different attack styles, be it magic, range, melee, two-hand melee weapons, special attacks, yada yada yada. We're not going to worry too much about it. We're just going to do our Slayer task like normal. But if we happen to get contracts, it's going to be a nice bonus. And if I'm not mistaken, 103 combat after hitting 97 hit point levels is our max combat level on 416 Hero. We unlocked Dust Devils back at level 65 Slayer. We are now 66 Slayer, and we are just now getting our first Dust Devils task. This is also our first burst or barrage task, so The EXP is really going to pick up from this point on now. Ooh, and a collection log, Dark Totem Middle. One of the 3 pieces we need to create one singular Dark Totem to fight Skotizo. And there goes the Dark Totem top. So I think we should have one key completed, one Dark Totem completed. I'm pretty sure we have a base in the bank somewhere. Well, we got the Iron Boots collection log earlier at, I believe, Cave Slimes. Now we get the Black Boots collection log at Bloodveldt. We are still Turiel boosting here, and after several tasks, we are currently at 1117 points. Now what I'm going to do is buy the herb sack. I know it's probably better to get it from the farming minigame, but that's just something I don't want to do. So here we go, 750 points for the herb sack. And we still have 367 remaining, which we will continue Turiel boosting to save up for some other unlocks, such as Gargoyle Smasher, just a lot of quality of life stuff under the unlock section. And of course, there's certain good tasks that we want to extend in the future. 69 Slayer has felt like the longest old school RuneScape grind I've done in existence for whatever reason. But nevertheless, we are finally 69 Slayer. We're going to finish up this Turiel task here on these Banshees, and then we're going to move on to, I think, 1 or 2 prereq quests we have to do, and then we have to do the balloon transportation thing, and then Monkey Madness 2 will be finally underway. Honestly, I think this has only taken so long because I've been Turiel boosting. If I had just gotten tasks from Duradel or Konar straight up, I'm sure 69 Slayer would have came a lot quicker. But I need the Slayer points, so Turiel boosting was definitely the way to go, and it'll pay off later. Without wasting any more time, let's get to it. First order of business is the balloon transport. We have to go on Intrana, which is why we have nothing in our inventory except our 3 magic logs. Now that we are on Intrana, we're going to talk to August here. Fly with them to the Grand Tree. Now we're going to have to do this little interface here where we control the balloon and navigate towards the Grand Tree. Thankfully, we have the quest helper to help us, so all we have to do is just click what's highlighted and we will be there shortly. We made the journey no issues. Next up, we're going to start and finish the Watchtower. We have almost everything we need in the bank. We'll just go pick up a few things we're missing. The quest is going to require us to have 2 ropes, and whenever you need ropes, just go ahead and go to the RD General Store real quick, and they have a stock available with you. It would help if you brought coins with you, though. And the other thing we're missing and we have to go get is bat bones. So we teleported to the dig site and ran north, and this is also where we typically do our Slayer tasks. After all that, we are now ready to do Watchtower. And of course, the starting location is the Watchtower itself. We're going to start the quest by talking to this Watchtower wizard here. As I'm working through this quest, honestly, nothing too interesting going on with this one. We're just interacting with these ogres and whatnot. We'll just tune in when we're done with Watchtower, and then we can finally get to what we're all here for, and that's Monkey Madness 2. And that is Watchtower completed. We get 15k magic XP. A whopping 5,000 coins, and the Watchtower teleport spell, which I guess could come in handy if we want to try to get to Yanil quickly. Having unlocked the balloon transportation system and done Watchtower, we are now ready to start Monkey Madness 2. We're going to talk to King Narnode Shireen here to get started. And we have everything we need for the first portion of the quest. I'm going to go to Glow's house right here. And I think this is the part where we discover that there's like a hidden entrance somewhere or something. We're back on Intrana, speaking to August again, and then conveniently we can fly back to the Gnome Stronghold. Basically, the first portion of the quest was us discovering that Glow is once again up to some elaborate schemes. Now we're going to make our way to Ape Atoll, and let's get started here. After having completed Monkey Madness 1, as long as you're in monkey form with a Gree, you are pretty safe on Ape Atoll. But make sure to not accidentally unequip your Gree, and then, well, you'll just get whooped. Well, pretty early on into the quest, we've already made it to this area where we have to traverse. I wouldn't call this a maze or anything like that, but, you know, there's a set of obstacles and stuff that you have to go through. And you can fall over these gaps right here. And when you fall, it's very bad news. Let's see if we fall here. We don't fall there, but this is the area where you want to train bursting, barraging, or chinning. This is the ideal location, and you do have to play melee when you fall, otherwise you will get absolutely run over by a bunch of monkeys. Well, there's an example. We just fell down, unfortunately. Protect melee right away and find the rope, and let's see where this puts us, actually. I have no idea if we're any closer or any further. Are we supposed to be going this way? No, we're supposed to be going the other way. The introduction of Quest Helper is truly a game changer. I remember doing this quest without Quest Helper, so there's no blue lines drawn out and everything. And I was just referring to the wiki, going back and forth between one monitor to the other. And this quest would take literal hours to complete. But here with the Quest Helper, luckily, if we do end up going in the wrong direction, the Quest Helper will course correct and go another direction. So right there, we fail. Oh, let's protect range real quick. And the rope is all the way back there. That's not great. But yeah, the Quest Helper is actually smart. It will try one direction, and then if that fails, it'll redirect us to another path. If I'm not mistaken, if you fail one of these obstacle courses, it's usually because you're just simply going the right way. The game doesn't want you to go that way. Although you might be able to just fail just as like a agility check too, though I'm not entirely sure. I think I mentioned this in the middle of the Dream Mentor or Lunar Diplomacy quest, but this is another example of a quest just being super old. We're here having to spam click on each individual pillar, and for whatever reason, the animation is taking like a solid good couple of seconds here. Quest was introduced today. There'd be like next to no delay while hopping from pillar to pillar. Okay, after having yapped our way through the obstacles, we finally make it to the end where we have to fight Kruk here. I believe we can actually set him up to flinch, if I can remember how to do this. I think we have to step under him to force him into the proper position. And I believe we have it set up. Kruk does do an insane amount of damage, even through prayer, so this is probably a good idea. Especially on a 50 defense account. We're currently in a pretty familiar area right now. Not only were we here for Monkey Madness 1, but we spent countless hours afterwards here training our magic up in preparation for the Inferno. But we're back, and having dealt with Kruk, essentially what that led to is getting a Kruk Monkey Gree. Basically, we're going to be undercover pretending to be Kruk and gaining access to areas we normally wouldn't be able to get to. We've arrived on the platform. This is perhaps the most iconic and memorable portion of Monkey Madness 2. And basically we have to sneak past all these monkeys and plant explosive devices and blow things up without being seen. Now, in theory, this is pretty easy, but if you become a little bit impatient, you could mess up and you essentially have to reset the entire thing. So priority number one is to just play it safe and be patient. For example, right here, this monkey's coming back this way. Let's just safe spot right here. Now that he's gone past us, we can go ahead and run through to the next safe spot. We made our way through the first floor. Now, let's see if we can do the second floor without failing. We made it onto the third floor, no issues. This is where the satchels are, and funny enough, there's no monkeys up here. So we can go ahead and run on over here and pick up 6 satchels. Now this is the part where we have to start being extra careful, because if we get caught, we'll be thrown into the water and these satchels will be useless, if I recall correctly. And because of that, you'll have to make that trip that I just did over to pick up the satchels and then to the designated locations again. So from this point on, we got to be extra careful and try not to fail. After some extensive navigating, we finally brought our 6 satchels over to this barrel so that we can fill them up with gunpowder. This was just the first step. We haven't even began placing these satchels at the proper locations yet. Here's the first satchel location. We're going to use the satchel on the compromised floorboards. This one was pretty close, so the risk was pretty low, but we got 5 more to go. Satchel number 2. Satchel number 3. This one was actually a little bit more sketchy, but we made it through. Oh my, I got a random event and I thought I got caught. Not right now, Freaky Forster. Satchel number 4. 2 more to go. No, in my head, I was just thinking this might be the first ever time across all the times I've done Monkey Madness 2. I would do it first try without getting caught. But with just 2 satchels to go, I got caught. So luckily we don't actually have to start over from scratch as in 6 satchels. But we made it through 4, so there's 2 remaining. We're going to have to fill these satchels up with gunpowder again. And so it begins, you know, right after that last clip, I was like, all right, let's get going. And I just walked straight into a monkey guard. I mean, if you really think about it, it's either all or nothing, right? Makes no difference if you fail once or twice, but it does make a difference if you fail no times versus 1 time. Just like that, we made it back to the barrel. Let's fill out these 2 satchels real quick. I was just saying in the clan chat, honestly, this portion of Monkey Madness 2 is not as bad as I remember it being. Satchel number 5. This one was actually a little bit tricky. We had to utilize a corner. So satchel number 5 was a little bit tricky. As you just saw, we had to utilize some true tile movement and path past this monkey guard. Even though visually it looked like it could see us, but as we know in RuneScape, things aren't actually where they are shown to be, as confusing as that sounds. I took a bit of a break after planning satchel number 5, and when I came back, I instantly get caught. I guess I kind of iced myself out. So now we have to go back to the barrel just to fill out 1 satchel with gunpowder, which, starting from the beginning here, it actually takes quite a bit of time to get to the gunpowder, so... But you know, this is exactly how it plays out for a lot of people, I think. Like I said before, this concept getting through here is actually not that difficult. But if you fail once or twice, and you know in your head that you really shouldn't have, it kind of gets to you and you start trying to rush to get back to making progress. And that's where more mistakes happen, you get more and more impatient, and it just snowballs. I'm going to do my best here to take my time and get this last satchel over with. All right, for the 3rd time here, I think it's the 3rd time, we're back at the barrel. Just 1 more satchel to go. Here we go, the final satchel placed on the support. And now it's emphasizing that we shouldn't teleport away. We have to leave the boat, or the platform via the boat. Oh, and I guess here it doesn't matter if you do get caught, since all of them are placed already. In fact, it's probably quicker to get caught on purpose. Here we are. Let's get off the boat. And honestly, a little bit anticlimactic. Imagine if they made a cutscene where you could see things exploding in the background, but I guess not. Moving on to the next portion of the quest. This is our first time seeing these demonic gorillas. And this part of the quest is actually pretty interesting. You get to control them. Basically, we're bullying these tortured gorillas back into their cages because they broke out over there. I did spacebar through the cutscene there as per usual when I'm questing, but Glow said something along the lines of these demonic gorillas being aggressive. Now I bring this up because at some point they made a change at demonic gorillas after completion of Monkey Madness 2 to where the demonics are no longer aggressive. I get that this was a quality of life change because it would be pretty annoying whenever demonics would tag you across the room while you're trying to fight another one, but I guess in the lore, it doesn't make any sense. Basically, after snooping around on Ape Atoll, we discover that Glow is launching a invasion. So we're now back at the Gnome Stronghold talking to the king to notify him of such things. Here we speak to Neve and recruit her for her help against the demonic gorillas. So we brought Neve along with us. She's kind of just trailing in the back now, and we're clearing out the Gnome Stronghold of these tortured gorillas. And actually, she's of no help right now. I'm just 1v1ing this gorilla. Even now, she's literally standing next to me. If she could just, you know, like poke it one time with that Zami Hosta real quick, that'd be great. Actually, is that a Zami Hosta? I don't even know. She's just watching me do all the work. She's got better gear than me. That's an Ellie in Bandos. I can't even wear Bandos. We've cleared out all the tortured gorillas spread out around the Gnome Stronghold. Now we're heading into the caverns. So I guess this is the portion of the quest where Neve finally decides to do something. Oh my god. Okay, dealing with 2 of them is kind of annoying. Let's see if we can drag this one out. Well, we got a combat task out of that. But now we're down to 1, and we should be able to deal with this one pretty cleanly. Well, with the 2 demonics dealt with, we now have 1 final fight against Glow himself. Although right now we are low on health, low on prayer, and have nothing in our inventory to work with, so we're going to have to TP out as soon as we can. But before that, we have to witness a tragedy. Just like that, down goes Neve. We've re-geared and we're ready to fight Glow. From my understanding, Glow has 3 phases, and the first 2 phases are really easy because you can save spot just like this. Now between phases, he'll run into the following room. As seen right now, phase 1 is over. He breaks through to room number 2, and we can do the same strategy for room number 2. Okay, couldn't quite figure out the safe spot for phase 2, but moving on to phase 3. We might have to TP out, I don't know if we're going to survive this otherwise, but we'll see. So for phase 3, it's a little bit different. You want to keep your distance and pray mage. And he'll do this animation where he brings you closer and closer. Each time you just want to step back and attack. Oh, you know what? Let's TP out. You know, we're not a hardcore, but I'm going to save myself the trouble. We're making our way back, and I guess the question is, are we going to have to do the complete fight over again, or is it going to be the final phase? Seems like we have to start from the beginning, which is unfortunate. Just a few more hits and Glow should be going down. Honestly, this is not a very interesting boss fight, but it's an iconic quest nonetheless. And down goes Glow. Well, we wrap up the quest the same way we started it, by talking to King Narnode Shireen. Now Monkey Madness 2 obviously unlocks demonics for Zenyte Jewelry, but it will also give us huge amounts of EXP, which we will see in a second. Here we are, 4 quest points, 80,000 Slayer EXP, 60,000 Agility, 50,000 Thieving, and 50,000 Hunter EXP. That's definitely going to gain us a couple of levels. Oh, and I actually forgot about this, but we get the Royal Seed Pot, which is very useful as a one-click teleport in the wilderness. So we go from 69 to 70 Slayer, and honestly, I was expecting some other levels, I'm not going to lie, but I guess not.